Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 181 of the Baseball Brew Crew Podcast. We are keeping history alive, baseball history, that is, alive, one craft beer at a time. Wherever you are watching or listening to us, please give us a like and a follow. And if you love beer with your baseball, please tell a friend. Let's get started. Here is the lineup card for today. Hitting first is the newest acquisition and the first international signing of the Baseball Brew Crew. It is the Big Hurt Allan Jepsen. Let me give you your introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, now batting, the Squared Circle Diamond King, number 24, the Big Hurt, Allan Jepsen.
How you doing tonight, man?
Dusting off a Super Bowl hangover, but I'm happy to be here on a Monday.
Nice.
They show the Super Bowl way up there.
Yeah, it's very delayed. We don't get the good commercials or anything like that.
Well, I mean, we don't get the Grey Cup here, so I guess it does even out.
No.
I know, right? No rouges for you.
we might get to watch it on like ESPN 17 or something like that.
Yes, and Allan, will have you later explain the rouge to us in the Canadian Football League. But let's go on to batting second. He is the field correspondent and senior research analyst at the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Kevin Lyon. How are you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. We're live, pal. It's Monday, and you know what? Something different tonight. We're gonna keep football history alive. One craft beer at a time as well.
I love it.
Great to be here.
Love it. In the three hole is the Goodwill Ambassador and the Sultan of Swig at the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Cowboy Jack Durango. How you doing tonight, man?
So great that you mentioned Super Bowl commercials earlier, Allan, because I'm so proud to show you, our audience, the latest marketing genius idea from the Baseball Brew Crew. We've partnered with a new product, and we actually had a Super Bowl commercial, and we're going to show it here to you tonight. Disco, roll the footage.
Big man, big athletic supporter. Cowboy Jack Durango's athletic supporters for big and tall men, available at all fine sporting good retailers nationwide. When you're a big old boy, choose Cowboy Jack's athletic supporters, because even the biggest Broncos need a sturdy corral. Coming soon, Cowboy Jack Durango's women's performance supporter, because big girls need support too.
Awesome. I mean, guys, once again, week after week, Cowboy Jack showing up and proving why he's the highest paid member of the Baseball Brew Crew of the Brewniverse. I got that Ohtani contract for a reason, boys.
How much of that got deferred is my question. Because, if they deferred 10 years, you're not getting that money.
You'll have to ask my translator. He handles all my finances. Allan, how is my money doing, buddy?
Not well up in Canada. You're not getting out of those Canadian banks, that's for sure.
Great.
Oh my gosh. I tell you what, you sure didn't put it into graphics. If you need a graphic designer, I can help you out.
Well, that was high. That was high level quality. That was Hollywood, brother.
Okay, all right.
Listen, we didn't say Hollywood, California. It could be Hollywood, Florida, Hollywood, Alabama.
I just licensed my name and my face, man.
All right.
Daddy's got to cash checks, brother. That was all Hollywood. Highest level production, dude.
I love it. That was amazing. Are there going to be other commercials in the future?
We don't know. They come to me with a different idea every week. So next week it could be a commercial. Next week I could be doing a bungee jump out of a hot air balloon. We don't know. You gotta tune in every week to see who the newest sponsor of Cowboy Jack Durango on the Baseball Brew Crew is.
I love it. Too good. Well, my name is Michael Mondragon, your humble host for the festivities tonight. As tradition on the show, we always bring a new and unique craft beer to review and enjoy. So what are you drinking tonight? Allan, you can go first.
All right, this week's beer, I've got Hipster Haze from R&B Brewing all the way in Vancouver, British Columbia. Now, Kevin, this one might give you a little PTSD where I took you there to kind of forced you to drink a dill pickle gosa.
Yes. No, and it was good. I was going to say that name did ring a bell. Yes, I had a dill pickle beer in Vancouver, and it was good. It was good.
I'm not sorry about that one, but this one's a little bit more up your alley anyways.
Yes.
Hipster Haze is a New England IPA clocking in at 6.4%, 40 IBUs. On Tapped, it's got a 3.69 score. Nice. I mean, come on, you can't not love this one. It's got papaya, pineapple. It's like a tropical vacation in a glass, guys. I think you guys are converting me to hazies.
I know. I was like,
Uh-oh.
It happens fast, dude. That happens fast.
Jack. It happened to Jack.
Bro, they got me with beer like that within like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Yeah.
Start exploring those hazy, citrusy beers, dude. You'll be a convert. You'll never touch a sour again.
Well, we'll see.
I guarantee it, brother.
Yeah, there's Kevin.
Hey,
right there.
There's that dill pickle goes. Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
and Hipster Haze is on there right there, number 3. And then where's the dill pickle goes? Oh, that's right.
Yep. He told me to have
Wow.
that. I don't remember was that my I remember that was my birthday or the day after. I can't remember. We went to like 11 breweries in like 3 days. I went to 11 breweries with Allan.
That is insane. Those are crazy stats, as they say.
And 3
right?
baseball games.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Too crazy. Yeah, these look really, really good. How much? Oh, I'm looking at the prices here, and I forget they're the Canadian as well. So how much are beers here?
They vary, but they're around 8 or 9. So you guys get a 30% discount. But so
not for long, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But they're about $8-9.
Okay, gotcha. That's funny. All right, Kevin, you are up.
So on my way out of beautiful Phoenix, Arizona last Sunday night after we triumphantly saw 2 games of Savannah Bananas, we're driving through downtown Phoenix, got a bite, got some dumplings and some food, and all of a sudden across the street, I see Arizona Wilderness. Yes, please. So I walked in and saw La Cuidad. So I had to get this. It's a hazy IPA. Coming in at 6.4%. And it's a beautiful can. I don't know if you can see that. I may have to show you the front of it because you can see the cactus background, but on the front too, it does have like downtown Phoenix. I don't know if you can see under the cacti. I can't.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is brewed in celebration of downtown Phoenix's cultural heritage, bringing the wilderness to Arizona's urban center, a hazy IPA showcasing Citra and Mosaic hops. And also on the can, they specifically mention here, proudly brewed with Arizona-grown Sinagua malt. I'm not exactly sure
Okay.
what that all entails, but hey, it's local, and we support local here at the Baseball Brew Crew. It's tasty. I don't know if you've had this one or not. Either one of you, Arizona gentlemen.
I had it before.
Okay,
Have you?
Yep. Go ahead, Jack.
I went to Wilderness just a couple of times on and dude, parking, like, this is right when parking took me an hour to find a spot. I had to walk. I was so upset by the time I got there, like, sat down, angry mood, mad at my friend that invited me, cracked open an Arizona Wilderness, and it was just that I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I remember everything I had there was just amazing. Food was great. The atmosphere is great. And dude, the beer, I mean, great selection, solid.
Yeah. I literally was about to drive back to California. I told my friends, like, can I just run real quick? Like, yeah. Cause I'm like, I had beer for the show. Literally walked in. I said, hey, can I just try this? And I'll buy it. But can I at least try it? And they poured me a little sip ski, then took it, and boom, here it is a week later. Celebrating the local beer of Arizona once again. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah. I've been to the Arizona Wilderness. It's in Gilbert, as the one that I went to before. And then when we went downtown, Kevin, on your way out, we got something to eat. the dumpling place right there was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I can't
And we
remember
walked
the-
across the
like,
street. And
Love Bite, I think it's called. I think it's called Love Bite.
yes.
It was pretty
And
tasty.
that whole downtown area has really, really come up. There's
Mhm.
breweries, there's great places to eat. A
Yeah,
lot of like
Greenwood was like 2 blocks away from Arizona Wilderness. I
Right,
almost went there
right.
first till I saw the sign for here because it was closer than where we were at.
yeah, it's like the Washington corridor, I think it's called, or something to that effect.
And we got lucky. We found a parking spot like almost immediately. We got lucky.
Yeah,
We did get lucky.
and also they had a baseball card store that was doing live breaks. Like you could walk
Yeah.
in, and they were that's all they do all day is live breaks, and we're just like, what is this place that we need to know about? So downtown Phoenix is where this is at. Arizona Wilderness, definitely check them out. The beer that I have tonight is another gifted beer from Kevin Lyon from one of my favorite SoCal breweries everywhere. And it is a collaboration with Ambitious Ales. Kevin, have you been to Ambitious Ales?
Not yet, but I've had this, and 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I had a beer that they made with Radiant, the local
Got
beer
it.
showcase.
So there's
I
been a
don't
lot of
I don't think
collaborations.
I've been there yet, though. But they're
A
busy.
lot of
obviously.
collaborations between everywhere, and definitely if you're even close to Anaheim, California, please make it out to Everywhere Beer Company. They have amazing beers. This one is the Gathered at the Garden. It is a 7.2 ABV, 75 IBU, I believe. I hope that's right. It is a hazy IPA brewed with oats and premium Pilsner malt and hopped with Citra Cryo, Citra Incognito, Nelson, Southern Cross, and Southern Cross Hop Keef. So a lot going on here, and it is amazing. Again, you were talking about the hazies before. Oh my gosh, it's like, I don't know, it's like the an adult orange juice. It's just so hoppy, so good. Everywhere has a distinctive taste to their beers. If you ever make it out to a place called Monkish that's out there, I think it's very similar. I would say smoother and a lot more flavorful than Monkish beers. Monkish beers almost have like more
That's
hoppy.
more for like an experienced IPA drinker. But let me tell you, I can't put Everywhere enough. You know, if you're ever going to beautiful Anaheim, California, if you're on the 57 freeway heading north, you want to exit at Orangewood. Don't turn left because Angel Stadium's right there. You turn right and you go about a mile down on your left-hand side Everywhere. You'll have way more fun at Everywhere Beer Company than Angel Stadium this year.
Yes, definitely make it a part of your plans if you're a craft beer fan and you enjoy going to breweries. Everywhere is awesome. Please check them out. Well, guys, I wanted to start out before we did our NFL MLB package. I wanted to kind of showcase something that was in the news recently.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
So what happened? Okay. I'm going to play this video for you, and I want you to look and see if you recognize anyone in this video.
Ever get it right and you get in the hall, would you ever consider wearing that Diamondbacks lid on your butt?
I would tell you that would be the cap I would choose.
Okay.
Right, I grew up in Arizona.
Yeah.
And
Shadow Mountain?
Shadow Mountain High School, Yavapai Junior College. That would be the hat I would choose simply because of all the things that it entails and meant to my career.
So I had a friend reach out to me and say, "Hey, I saw this video and I think you're in it. It's with Curt Schilling." And I was like, "Oh, what?" And yes, that is Curt Schilling. And yes, that is me. And right down there in the bottom, right by the area where it says Arizona. And it's kind of a funny story how this all happened. So Curt Schilling.
All happened. What happened?
That's right. What happened? So Curt Schilling was a senior when I was a freshman in 1985 at Shadow Mountain High School, Phoenix, Arizona. And this picture is actually my freshman team. And it's actually on our website. So if you go to beerbaseball.com, I did a blog post about, I actually hit off Curt Schilling. It was actually my junior year.
Hit a dinger off Kurt Schilling, dude.
No, it actually is a
Hey, babe.
Okay, Bizzle.
I'm really bad about lying about myself or boasting. No, I hit a weak grounder to second, but it's actually a great story. And you can
Otherwise known as Kevin on a third date.
So they use this picture. This is actually off our website, which is kind of really funny, actually. The funnier part about it is I think that they thought that the person that they cued in on was that's actually Jeff Field. That's not Kurt Schilling right there. But to add further weirdness to this, the guy that's right by the Shadow Mountain, his name is Rob Lidington. He's still my friend to this day. And I played baseball with him a lot. And his father is actually Bob Lidington, who he's actually was born in Calgary. So Bob Lidington, born in Calgary, was a goal scoring machine with 58 goals for the Calgary Centennials in the 68-69 season, then played 11 games for the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1970-71 as a 22-year-old. He was signed in 1969, and he has one career assist. So pretty awesome, right? So I don't think this is a deep rabbit hole.
Can I just make the easy joke? He had a cup of Tim Hortons coffee in the NHL.
Yes, he did. Was Tim Horton even a thought back then? I'm not sure.
I'm sure it probably was.
Okay.
I mean,
perfect.
as a player, he was.
Okay, so perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so so Bob Lidington, I guess after that, he actually moved to Phoenix. He played for the Phoenix Roadrunners in 71 and 72. Again, we're getting off of baseball into this whole thing, but this is
this whole show is not just about baseball today, so it's a perfect time to go on this segue.
It is not. It's about all sports, right?
Exactly. Today is, yes.
And then here is that picture from 1985, and unfortunately that is not Kurt Schilling right there. Although yes, he this is the varsity field, but it is not the varsity picture. This is the actually freshman year, and me and Rob are probably the youngest looking people on the field. And but and the funny story too. So Rob was the smallest person on this team. He is now like 6'6". So he had a growth spurt during college. He actually played college, and I believe in Oklahoma.
Michael,
played college baseball.
Is the Oakland A's pitching coach in this photo?
He is not. He actually was the class behind this. So like it would have been the next year. So when I was a sophomore, he was a freshman.
Okay.
Yes. So Scott Emerson came in. So that's kind of wild. But we're here to talk about NFL versus Major League Baseball. The last game of football, the football season was last night. Pitchers and catchers report to spring training in 2 days. And we thought it would be a great subject to talk about football and baseball player crossovers. Each one of us will highlight players who went from the gridiron to grand slams. Allan, why don't you start us off?
All right. I want to talk about a man who's known for his magic on the football field. His name is Russell Wilson. He's a man of many nicknames. Chef Russ, Danger Russ, and my favorite, Mr. Unlimited. Russell Carrington Wilson was born on November 29th in Cincinnati, Ohio. In high school, he was a multi-sport athlete. Baseball was one of his loves. The records are a little bit sparse from his days in high school, but in his junior year, he hit 467. That's not good. That's elite. He was athletic enough to play multiple positions: second base, third base, left field, center field. You name it, Russ could do it. The scouts noticed in 2007 he was drafted in the 41st round to the Baltimore Orioles. Other teams came calling too, and offering six-figure deals, but Russell had other plans. He ultimately chose to go to college, enrolling in North Carolina State, where he continued to shine on the diamond. Playing second base for the NC State Wolfpack, he showed his versatility. In his senior year, he even stepped on the mound, making 10 appearances, including 1 start. Baseball wasn't just a hobby for Russell. It was a serious pursuit. In 2010, he was drafted by the Colorado Rockies in the 4th round, where they signed him to a $200,000 signing bonus. Here's the kicker. The Rockies let him go back to NC State to play football. Seems like a mistake, don't you think? Where he played football and he got to play, go back and play quarterback. In his 2 seasons in the minor leagues, he played for the Tri-City Dust Devils and the Asheville Tourists, where he hit .229. He had 72 hits, 5 home runs, and 118 strikeouts in 315 at-bats. Those numbers might not scream superstar, but they show something important. Russell wasn't just dabbling in baseball, he was competing. Fast forward to 2014, the Rangers claimed Russell from the Rockies and invited him to spring training. Then, in a surprising twist, the Yankees acquired him from the Rangers in a deal for future considerations. The Yankees tweeted out, "We have acquired infielder Russell Wilson from the Rangers and expected to be in camp in March. He was assigned to Double-A Trenton roster, but he was never expected to play in Major League Spring Training. This wasn't about making the big leagues. It was about keeping that baseball dream alive, even though his football career was soaring." And speaking of football, let's not forget the NFL side of Russell's story. Drafted in the 3rd round in 2012, he burst onto the scene as the 2012 NFL Rookie of the Year. He won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, and he's currently playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is Russell Wilson's story. It sounded like he was considering trying to go back to baseball when he was in his time in Denver, but I think he made a good choice by kind of sticking it out in football. So yeah, there he is with, I think, his 1 at bat with the Yankees. There, he struck out, which is fantastic. But he was just a motivational guy in the locker room, pretty much, is what it sounded like those spring trainings were. So yeah, that's Russell Wilson.
Nice.
I would also like to add that a strikeout is what we like to refer to as Kevin on a 4th date.
So week rounder, 3rd date, strikeout, 4th date.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe I got to 4 dates with that,
Right. Well, I mean, 5th date is known as restraining order. So, I mean, we're pretty much topped out at 4.
All right.
Who do you got next, Ellen?
I believe we have John Elway.
Oh my God.
What a photo. Today, I want to tell you about a man who faced one of the toughest decisions an athlete can make, choosing between 2 paths, 2 sports, and ultimately 2 destinies. His name is John Elway. A name you know as an NFL legend could have easily been etched in baseball history instead. John Elway was born on June 28th, 1960 in Port Angeles, Washington. I didn't know he was a Washington guy. That's pretty crazy. Growing up, he was a natural athlete, excelling in football and baseball. By the time he reached Granada Hills High School in California, it was clear he had something special, but it wasn't until 1979 the world just started to see how far his talent could take him. That year, the Kansas City Royals drafted him in the 18th round of the MLB draft. An 18-year-old kid catching the eye of major league team, but Elway had other plans. He chose education and opportunity over immediate jump to the pros and enrolled at Stanford University. At Stanford, Elway wasn't just a football standout. He was a star on the baseball diamond as well. As an outfielder for the Cardinals, he showed what he was made of. As a freshman, he hit a solid .269, but by his final season, he was a force, batting .349, 9 home runs, 50 RBIs in just 49 games. He wasn't just playing ball, he was dominating, all while balancing football and earning a degree in economics. That's just the kind of person that Elway was, someone who could excel in everything he touched. The baseball world took notice in 1981. The New York Yankees, yes, the Yankees, drafted him in the second round. Think about that, a second-round pick by one of the most storied franchises in sports. He made his professional debut with their single-A farm club, the Oneonta Yankees, in 1982. He hit .318 in 42 games, showing the kind of potential that had scouts buzzing. By 1983, Baseball America named him the Yankees' top prospect. The Yankees saw a future star and wanted him badly. But here's where the story gets interesting. Elway was at a crossroads: on one side baseball, the sport he loved, and a sport where he was proving he could shine. On the other side, good photo, a game where his talent was undeniable and the path was less certain. The Yankees did everything they could to sway him. They saw a future outfielder in him and could be a household name in the Bronx, but Elway, he was torn. Then came 1983, the NFL draft. And with the first overall pick, the Baltimore Colts chose John Elway. But Elway wasn't sold on Baltimore, and in one of the most famous trades in NFL history, he was sent to the Denver Broncos, and that's where the magic happened. From 1983 to 1998, Elway became the face of the Broncos. He lived into 2 Super Bowl championships, here in the respect of his peers, and retired as the NFL's winningest starting quarterback. Elway's story isn't just one about talent, it's about decisions and the courage to choose the path, even though the other road looks just as bright. He could have been a star in either sport, but he chose the one that felt right for him, and in doing so, he left a legacy that's still inspiring athletes today. That's a fantastic photo.
Yes, I love it. I forget all about these Sports Illustrated photos and other photos like this. They don't make them like this anymore. We'll actually
really
see some
don't.
more of that.
They don't make people with haircuts like that anymore either.
No, they do not. No, they do not. That's the Ricky Schroeder cut. For those Silver Spoons fans out there.
Yes, sir.
They don't make people like that anymore. He looks like friggin' he looks like he's getting chased by a mob with pitchforks and burning torches. It's Frankenstein.
That me in the background?
Bro.
That's probably me in the like just behind that photo with my pitchfork.
Are we that far behind in Canada? Because that's a current haircut.
Oh.
No, I think it's back, dude. I think it's back.
Okay. Okay, we're back.
Okay. All right. Say, Allan, under your hat, is that haircut under your hat?
I'm not taking the hat off.
Hey, listen. He took the hat off one time in his life, and it was during the honeymoon. Any other time, that hat stays on. Why do they look so good? Because he showers in them. The man doesn't take the hat off.
They only get worn once or twice, really. That's the real secret behind them. You just got to have so many of them.
That is a perfect hair helmet. I know because I had one back then. Perfect.
All right. And then lastly, we're talking about the man that I'm wearing the jersey of, man that brought my team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a Super Bowl. Let me take you back to a time when Tom Brady, yes, that Tom Brady, the NFL legend, the GOAT, wasn't just a football star, but a baseball prospect with serious potential. It's a story not everyone knows, but it reminds us how life's biggest decisions can not shape our career, but history itself. Picture this. In 1995, Brady, a high school standout from Junipero Serra High School in California, a dominating left-hand hitting catcher. He's got power, skill, and a knack for the game to turn heads. He's so good, in fact, that he's named Most Valuable Player, earns All-State, All-Far West honors, and later in 2003 gets inducted into his high school Hall of Fame. But back then, his talent wasn't just catching the eye of local coaches, it caught the attention of MLB scouts. The Montreal Expos, in a move that was anything but ordinary, brought Brady to Candlestick Park to work out with their players. Think about that for a second. A high school kid, not even drafted yet, getting a private tryout with a major league team is kind of unheard of. But the Expos saw something in him. They drafted him in the 18th round of the 1995 MLB draft and projected him to be a potential all-star. Their GM at the time, Kevin Malone, not the one from The Office, went as far as saying Brady could have been one of the greatest catchers ever. They even offered him money on par with a late second or early third round pick. They drafted him in the 18th round, though. But here's where the story takes the twist. Brady had another love, football. And when Michigan football assistant Bill Harris came calling, Brady made the choice. That changed everything. He signed to play for the University of Michigan, turning down the Expos, their vision of him as a baseball star. And here's a fun fact. Brady would have ended up being the last ever active athlete drafted by the Montreal Expos.
Wow.
Fast forward to December 12th, 2023, Tom Brady Day. As it was officially dubbed, Topps, the trading card company, decided to celebrate Brady's what-if story by releasing his first ever baseball rookie card. This wasn't just any card. It was part of a collection imagining Brady's career, what Brady's career could have been if he'd stepped onto the diamond instead of the gridiron. A base card, sure, also rare versions and collectors were looking for. And then just a month later, January 24th, one of those cards made headlines, a one of a kind super factor card autographed by Brady himself, sold at an auction for a staggering $158,000.
Wow.
That shattered the previous record for an Expos card over $100,000, which I should have looked that one up, but I'm going to guess it's probably Vladdy or
Vladdy.
Yeah.
I mean, Andre Dawson, Gary Carter are Hall of Famers in Montreal, but they're not going to have that.
Tim Raines.
Tim Raines.
Yeah.
Hawk Raines.
Gary Carter. Gary Carter could have been the one too. Yeah, that's just insane amount for a single card. Brady's story is more than just football's legend. He's a football legend, and it's a reminder how close he came to completely different path. He chose Michigan, the NFL, and 7 Super Bowl rings. But somewhere in an alternate universe, maybe he's behind the plate calling pitches for Pedro and the big unit, Randy Johnson.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, I think he made the right choice. You never know. It could have been 7 World Series championships, but yeah, he did all right.
With the Expos, probably, and the Rays, probably not.
And who would have thought this lad would have?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I don't even believe that he like in his NFL combine he was like looked down upon as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He was just a chubby guy, and look at him now.
But again, he was in the right place at the right time because famously, it's almost like Lou Gehrig replaced the guy named Wally Pipp. Drew Bledsoe, the Patriots quarterback, went down. Tom Brady stepped in, and the rest is history. They won the Super Bowl that year over the Rams, and then who knew? 20 years later, he'd be an owner of the Raiders, minority owner, but
and the color commentator on the Super Bowl as of yesterday.
Right, and actually a really good one. Actually, was pushing back against the refs.
Yeah, but surprisingly, because he had all those calls for so many years.
He even admitted to the tuck rule. Like I had a rule invented for me too. Great stuff.
There's definitely some rules and laws made against me over the years. If you go through some of the old laws, I'm sure that's beginning for me.
Of course. Great stuff, Allan. Well done. Jack, you are up.
This is the flashiest, cockiest, and the most electrifying athlete ever. Neon Deion Prime Time Sanders. Gentlemen, this magnificent, majestic stallion played in an NFL game and a World Series in the same year. He once showed up to the draft in a full-length fur coat. This is why I love Deion Sanders, boys. Before he was prime time, Deion was just a kid in Fort Myers, Florida, making every sport he touched look easy. Daddy, yo, well done. In high school, he was a 3-sport athlete, playing baseball, basketball, football, and dominated being named Male Student Athlete of the Year multiple occasions by his local newspaper. He then went on to Florida State, where he played football, baseball, and track, and he still had time to run his mouth 24/7. One time he played a baseball game, then ran a leg in a track meet, then went to football practice, all before dinner time. That's Neon Dion, boys. He was so fast, he ran a 4.27 second 40-yard dash cold. No stretching, cold. By the time the 1989 NFL draft rolled around, Dion had already decided he was a superstar, and that's where the madness really started. Dion hated wasting time, which is why when teams asked him to take the Wonderlic test, aka the NFL's IQ test, he refused, saying, "I'm not taking no damn test. The only thing you need to know is it takes a lot of money to get me out of bed in the morning." The Falcons drafted him 5th overall, and Dion's first move was he went out and bought himself a brand new Lamborghini. Total horseman move, brother. Well done. He had the Lambo before he played a single down of football for the Falcons. We all know his baseball, but he didn't just play 2 sports at once. He made it look easy to play 2 professional sports at once. In the MLB, he played for the Yankees, the Braves, the Reds, the Giants, and he was fast as hell. He stole bases like Willie Mays Hayes, man. He once hit a home run, guys, in the World Series. In the NFL, that's where he was a god. He was the first true shutdown corner, an 8-time Pro Bowler, and won 2 Super Bowls, one of which was with the Dallas Cowboys, which is why I love him so much. When I was a young little buckaroo, I moved from Amarillo, Texas to the middle of nowhere in Australia and for 2 years. And the only American television that they would show over the airwaves was Tuesday mornings at 3 a.m. Dallas Cowboys football during this era. And I'd wake up early to get a taste of back home, and Neon Dion high-stepped his way into this little buckaroo's heart. In 1989, Dion pulled off the impossible. He played a Major League Baseball game, hopped on a plane, and flew straight to an NFL game and played in it in the same day. Guys, one in an MLB game and one NFL game in the same day. And despite looking like money, Dion has admitted over the years that he wasn't the best with it. He once spent $1 million in a day in a 24-hour period, then woke up and realized he was actually broke. He didn't have $1 million to spend.
Whoops.
In the 92 World Series, Dion was playing for the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Falcons at the same time, dude. The Braves benched him because they didn't like him flying away to football games.
Wow.
So a funny little story about Dion is he once sued a foot balm company and won a boatload of money because he used their foot balm and it burned his toes so badly that he lost toenails. I mean, he was $1 million player on the field and they took out one of his wheels. So he won a lawsuit against him. It was fantastic. I mean, Deion Sanders wasn't just great. He wanted you to know that he was great. Deion would say that he said, they don't pay nobody to be humble. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. And water covers 2/3 of the earth. I cover the rest. Dude, Neon Dion was amazing. Dude. After retiring, he became a TV analyst. So he got to just go onto TV, look like $1 million, and get paid to talk trash. He then moved on to coaching at Jackson State, brought in a bunch of top recruits, and made HBCU football a national conversation. And now he's the head coach at Colorado, where he's taking not just Colorado football, but college football and turned it into the Deion Sanders show. And so his toes, His feet have taken a beating over the years. He's actually had to amputate some toes because of circulation issues. But he's still prime time, baby. He's still talking trash. He's still winning, and he's still proving that Deion Sanders is and always will be the most electrifying man in sports ever. Michael Mondragon.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of his antics at Colorado State?
His antics. I'm not in depth. I know that he's the coach there. I know he's outspoken.
Let me rephrase that. His coaching style.
Yes.
Controversial.
I am. He's very controversial, very outspoken, and definitely flies in the face of any conventional college coach. Let's just say that.
But it sells tickets, brother.
That's right.
It gets TV ratings.
It's show business.
Exactly.
It's show business. They're on ESPN all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's show business.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The man understood it from day one.
Yep.
Yeah, he's so good. Allan, as a younger guy, do you have any Neon Deion memories?
Just his time with the Braves. I like watching him play with the Braves because like you'd see a lot of games versus the Blue Jays, and that's a lot of what was televised. So yeah, that's where I saw him. And obviously in Cowboys games, my dad was a fan of the 49ers. So again, when they're on the TV, they're usually against each other. So yeah. So I'd usually see him as the opponent of whatever host was on my TV at that time.
Got it.
Yes, he was awesome. I mean, like him or hate him, you knew he was there. He was always a force. You had to watch out for him. One of the greatest things, and this may be the low light of the man's career, but it is absolutely a highlight that I need to bring up. I think it was in 2002. He hosted the Miss USA beauty pageant.
What?
It is at the time, I remember it being a cultural phenomenon only for the worst reasons, because he was the worst host. He was trying really hard, but it just didn't translate.
Whoa.
I don't believe it.
You're saying the worst host. You literally had Steve Harvey announce the wrong person winning.
I can say that it's up there. It's pushed down in history. It's much like 50 Cent's first pitch or Spike Lee's first pitch or Chris Rock's first pitch. You can't find it on the internet, but if you look really hard, find the Deion Sanders one. But again, we're here to celebrate the man's career, not bury him.
Right. There you go.
But you should definitely check it out because it's one of those great things that happened to him.
Hashtag do the research.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jack, so much for that. Kevin, you are up.
Sir. All right. So I wish I could have the NFL, music in the background. I wish I could do the voice of the guy because I'm going to give you a more historical perspective. The American Professional Football Association launched in 1920. Luckily, someone realized that name wasn't going to fly. So in 1922, the name was changed to the National Football League. Over the last 125 years, so, basically the last week for me in my timeline, there have been fewer than 70 players who have competed in the National Football League and Major League Baseball. Of this list, there are 2 Heisman Trophy winners, one of whom I believe we're going to talk about later that we haven't yet. And there's 7 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Mr. Cowboy Jack Durango just discussed Deion Sanders. I'll be mentioning 2 shortly. However, of this list, none of these guys are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But this is why we hashtag do the research of the Baseball Brew Crew. Let me start with an original member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Christy Mathewson. I don't know if you guys are aware of him. There he is. Christy Mathewson, in his 17-year Major League Baseball career, his record was 378 wins, 188 losses, with a career ERA of 2.13 and 2,508 strikeouts. For wins, he's 3rd all-time, which nowadays no one's going to ever get over. You might not get another guy throwing 300 wins, let alone 373. And his nicknames included the Christian Gentleman, because he wouldn't pitch on Sundays because he's obviously gay for Jesus, And he's also was called the Big Six named for the America's number 6 New York City fire engine, which was a 2-ton double-deck steamer known for its power and reliability. Meanwhile, in college, though, he played football, basketball, and baseball at Bucknell University. He was an All-American as a kicker, but he wasn't just any kicker, gentlemen. He, much like Jumpin' Jim Brunzell and Kazuchika Okada, he was a drop kicker. And you're like, what, a drop kicker? Let me tell you what that is. In rugby and old school football, the kicker would drop the ball and either kick it when it's on the ground or kick it on the bounce up. So, he had some hops. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to just, much like Okada and Brunzell for sure. And he's revered enough at Bucknell University that their football stadium is now named the Christy Mathewson Memorial Stadium. And he did actually play in the original NFL. There was a National Football League in the early 1900s. Because, of course, I know all this. He was a fullback for the Pittsburgh Stars in 1902 while he was playing for the New York Giants. But mysteriously, he just disappeared from the team in the middle of the season. That sounds fishy, doesn't it, gentlemen? The speculation is the Giants were like, hey, brother, don't be risking your career with us by playing that silly little game where you're not wearing any protective gear, kicking a ball around and running a ball around. So the Giants barely ordered him to stop. That's one legend. The other legend is the coach got rid of Matheson to replace him with a local player. Chrissy was a fullback and he was a kicker, so he wasn't being used to his fullest ability. And so in the end, regardless of these two possibilities, it comes down to economics because we had a burgeoning 1902 economy, guys. I'm telling you that right now from living in it. So that's Christy Mathewson. Now, there's a gentleman who was in the Football Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, and the Baseball Hall of Fame. Any guesses? Come on. You don't know?
Crickets. I'm going to dub in crickets.
Of course, it's Cal Hubbard, right?
Of course. Go see Cal.
Come on, guys. It was on the tip of your tongues, I'm sure.
Wow.
So Cal Hubbard here, he played in the National Football League from 1927 to 1936. He is credited as one of the inventors of the linebacker position. But I know the question. What's this got to do with baseball? Well, in the football offseason, he became an umpire starting in 1928. And he made it to the American League in 1936, and he was an umpire from 1936 until 1951, when unfortunately during the 51 offseason, in a hunting accident, a pellet somehow got into his eye and damaged his vision enough to where he had to retire as an umpire. And but using his football knowledge, if you watch football, every official referee is in very specific positions, watching over certain things. He brought that to baseball. That's why he brought in another umpire. So it used to be 3 before the 4 nowadays. And each guy positioned at a specific spot with specific duties. So he kind of modernized the standards of Major League Baseball for umpiring. So with that, yes, he is in the Baseball Hall of Fame as an umpire. And yeah, Jack, I know you can't believe this. They actually do celebrate umpires in baseball. All right.
Somebody's got to.
But you guys won't live long enough, but I'll still be here when my next baseball dream is going to come true, when we get our first robot umpire into the Hall of Fame. I can't wait for that day, let me tell you.
Robot.
So now, robot. So now let's go back to the start of the what you now know as the National Football League. In 1920, there were actually 11 Major League Baseball players who also played in the NFL. So let me tell you about 2 who are in the Football Hall of Fame. First off, with a guy named George Halas. So he actually was a member of the New York Yankees in 1919 as a right fielder. Unfortunately, after 12 games, he had a hip injury, which pretty much ended his baseball run. So, he had a cup of coffee. But this guy, George Halas, he's kind of a worker. He would later say, like, I got replaced by a guy named Babe Ruth in right field. I don't know if you heard of him or not. That's like the stories he would tell later. Like, I was great, but this Babe guy came around. When it actually was a guy named Sammy Vick who took his place in right field. But hey, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. But when it comes to football, he pretty much is the Chicago Bears. So he was known as Papa Bear, was his nickname later in his life. He played with the Chicago Steelers, pictured here. They're named after a starch company. They originally were in Decatur, Illinois, moved to Chicago, and they actually played at a place called Cubs Field. So before it was called Wrigley Field, it was called Cubs Field. So they played there before Soldier Field was built. So Alice eventually got involved in ownership of the team. I think with Staley. I don't know the old transaction. I got the team from him, but this is why I want to tell. Hallis, a year later in 1921, renamed the team the Chicago Bears. Years later, he called that he wanted to find a way to choose a name that would give a nod to the Chicago Cubs. Reasoning that football players are far bigger than baseball players. Here's his conclusion. If baseball players are Cubs, then football players must be Bears. So there's your story of how they became the Chicago Bears. So thought you guys would enjoy that. He was a coach and an owner for decades and is credited with creating the T formation in football and had some, I think, 8. Yeah, and he was one of the creators of the NFL, actually, when they first started in 1920 with the APFA, blah, blah, blah. But he won 8 NFL titles in his playing and coaching days because he actually was playing while he was a coach as well. And he's an inaugural member of the Football Hall of Fame, and he is the namesake of the NFC Championship Trophy. And literally yesterday, I don't know if you have the graphic ready, during the pregame, they gave tribute to, this is his daughter. This is George Hallis's daughter, Virginia Hallis McCaskey, who literally passed away on February 6th at the age of 102. When George Hallis passed away in 1983, Virginia here became the principal owner of the Chicago Bears. So I was like, whoa, that's just crazy how that all just came together like that. And to conclude, let's go to one of the most famous folklore and legendary athletes of the early 20th century, Jim Thorpe. So Jim Thorpe won the gold medal for the decathlon and the pentathlon in 1912. Oh, my God, he looks rugged. Jeez, oh, my God, this guy looks like he's – Jack, how would you describe how this man looks?
He's 19 in that photo.
You know what? You're probably not far off. So anyways, so – in 1912, he won those 2 Olympic medals. We don't need to talk about the controversy involved in all that, blah, blah, blah. Because he got his medals taken away and he got him back. Long story short, too late. So in baseball, he primarily played the New York Giants from 1913 to 1919. So he was a teammate with former football player Christy Matheson to make it go full circle there. And he's never a full-time player for the Giants. So, of course, the Giants are like, hey, we signed this guy. This guy's going to be a draw. Let's just make some money off of him. So I'm sure he's I don't think he means to be a gimmick, but he's a walking, talking gimmick and attraction for sports in the 1910s for sure. And in the offseason, though, like I said, he was an ambassador for baseball. He was going on barnstorming tours around the world, including playing a game in London for the King in front of 20,000 people in baseball. Playing a baseball game in London in the 1910s. They probably had no idea what was going on. They thought it was cricket, probably. But his numbers were okay in baseball. He had a lifetime average of 252, 7 home runs, 82 RBIs, and 176 hits. So yeah, he's just an attraction. And it'd be the same thing for football. But first, let me talk about his college background. He went to a place called Carlisle. Michael Mondragon, are you aware of what Carlisle University is?
No, I wasn't that a reality star, Brandy Carlisle.
Well, no, well, maybe, but it's a high school and a college that would not exist today. Now, are you aware of what Jim Thorpe's nationality was, or his background, his race? What you know what he was? Are you aware?
I will say Native American.
Thank you. So he went to this school called Carlisle. He got sent there. It was more or less a reformation school for Native Americans. They would literally take Native American people from their children, from their families, take them to school to Americanize them. And hopefully, I'm sure that hopefully the school burned down. That's not him at Carlisle, but at Carlisle, he actually was a 2-time All-American under coach, some guy named Pop Warner. So nowadays, you'll just know him as that guy, the name, that football league that my son plays in, But no, but he was actually a coach. So then he signed with, as you can see here, the Canton Bulldogs in 1915, getting paid back then $250 a game, which nowadays I think would be $8,000 a game or something like that. Which, of course, you can multiply that. But $250 a game, brothers cash it in. And he was actually a coach too. So again, much like with the Giants, Science of Attractions, which worked, as in his first game, they drew 8,000 fans to a game in Canton, Ohio in 1915, where they were averaging 1,200 fans the year before that. And so, like I said, brother was a draw. Canton joined the American Professional Football Association in 1920, and he actually was made the president. So, as you see, he's just a marketing tool in so many levels. And so he's the president for the league just that year. But he played as a fullback and was coach also, like I said, for that run with the Canton Bulldogs. And he actually won 3 championships in the league he was in before the creation of the APFA and NFL. And he's also a member of the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame. And that's a brief story on Jim Thorpe.
Nice. Oh, very thorough. And going back to George Halas.
Yes, sir.
If I'm not mistaken, when the Chicago Bears were in the Super Bowl, was it 84?
It was like 86. It'd been the 85 season with the Super Bowl shuffle.
85, 86. But I remember in those seasons right before that, they on their sleeve, they had the GSH,
yes,
which I believe was for George Halas. I think he died in like 1983.
83, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do remember that, and that's how I kind of came to know who he was and his legacy back then. But I wanted to show this picture real quick. Jim Thorpe looks he doesn't even look he's like homunculus in the true sense of the word. I want to know why the guy is standing behind him. I think that guy might be tougher. He's standing right behind a guy who's going to be swinging a bat.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know more of this story. Who that guy was.
So Jim Thorpe was born in 1887. So he had been 25 when he won his gold medal. So he's probably like 28 years old here.
That's crazy.
Maybe 30, but you know, the dude lived a life. He lived a life.
Yes, they aged pretty quickly back then. Great stuff. Thank you, Kevin, for that. All right, so I am up and I'm going to fly through this. So get ready, strap on, and let's get this going. And I'm going to start with George Carlin, of course. Why wouldn't I?
Of course.
On October 11th, 1975, the very first episode of Saturday Night Live premiered. The host was iconic comedian George Carlin. In his monologue, he discusses the subtle differences between football and baseball. Football is technological, 20th century. Baseball is pastoral, 19th century. Football is played on a gridiron in a stadium, War Memorial Stadium. Baseball is played in a diamond in a park. In football, you wear a helmet. In baseball, you wear a cap. In football, you have the 2-minute warning. In baseball, we have the 7th inning stretch. In football, it's rigidly timed and could go to sudden death. In baseball, there's no time limit. You could go to extra innings. We could play all night. Football based on downs. Baseball based on ups. Who's up? I'm not up. Are you up? Football, you got penalties. In baseball, you make an error. Whoops. In football, the object of the game is for the quarterback or the field general to be on target with his aerial attack, riddling the defense and hitting his receivers with deadly accuracy, in spite of the blitz, even if he has to use a shotgun. In baseball, the object is to go home. So I'm not sure how I'll do it, but one day I'll work in George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on TV. It might be our last show, but I'm gonna try and do it.
I hope so.
With that, I will transition to Bo Jackson. Yes. Bo Jackson played college baseball as an outfielder and college football as a running back for the Auburn Tigers. He won the Heisman Trophy in 1985. He played in the NFL for the Raiders, and in Major League Baseball, he played for the Royals, the White Sox, and the California Angels. Do you remember that, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. His batting average was 250, 141 home runs, and 415 runs batted in. He was an All-Star in '89, and he's in the Kansas City Royals Hall of Fame. If you follow the popflypopshop.com, this was the drop yesterday. It's their 200th. You should definitely check them out. They're friends of the show. We definitely want to do an interview with them. These are amazing. And the one on the right is a steal at $1,500. So get it now while you can. These are amazing. The other
you can
two
buy them autographed too. There's autograph options for these by Bo. It's pretty cool.
Super cool. And definitely you should check out their whole line. They have a whole bunch of drops, and they're only available for a limited time. So definitely check that out. So just happen to be we're talking about Bo, so why not? So Deion Sanders was covered by Jack so well, but I wanted to share my experience with Neon Deion prime time. So yes, I actually saw him on August 2nd, 1995 in San Diego as he played center field for the San Francisco Giants. And yes, Barry Bonds was in left field. Guess who homered in that game? Prime time. Prime time did. Yes, he did. And as I look at the box score, this is pretty amazing. The Padres scored 11 in the 8th after being down 3-0 the whole game.
Yes.
And Barry Bonds went 0 for 5. Yes, God. Tony Gwynn did play. He was 3 for 5, actually taken out I guess in the 11-run inning. But I figured out why my Archie Cianfrocco, why I always bring him up as a Padre. I actually saw him play. So just a great baseball name that I always seem to bring up quite a bit. So that was on.
I can picture. I want Harry Carey to say Archie Cianfrocco coming out to bat for the.
Yes, and back then, as you can see, it was Jack Murphy Stadium and not Qualcomm. Although I've been to Qualcomm, so it's the same thing.
Same.
Same.
Well, it's gone now. It's demolished now. It's gone.
Yes. So that was on August 2nd, 1995. But I wanted to talk about Prime Time's teammate. Yep. That's right. It is also, let me start over. Speaking of Neon Deion Sanders, he's a teammate of the Falcons and also played NFL football, is Brian Jordan. Jordan is the most recent example of a two-way star. He led the Falcons in tackles and was named to an alternate to the Pro Bowl as a defensive back in 1991 before switching to baseball full-time the following year. He spent 15 seasons with the Cardinals, the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Rangers. St. Louis fans will recall Jordan's game-winning home run in Game 4 of the 1996 NLCS, and he earned his lone All-Star game selection with Atlanta 3 years later. He finished his career as a .282 hitter with 184 home runs. And, of course, I have to tie this all in, correct?
Of course.
You always do.
Well, that's right. Here I am in August of 1995 at Fan Appreciation Day at Busch Stadium 2. We were actually allowed to go on the field and take pictures and everything. So I got to see where the tarp where Vince Coleman had his leg run over. And let me tell you, it's ruthless. I can't believe that even existed. It was ruthless on right there. I can't believe they even played on that surface. Well, here's my ticket to prove it. 17 days later, I was right behind Brian Jordan as he played right field. And yeah, so
section 362. That sounds like higher than Bob Bucher be sitting at any stadium. Oh my God.
And a steal at $5.50. Yes. I actually had to endure a rain delay. John Smoltz was pitching. He only pitched 3 innings. So let's see who was that game. Chipper Jones, Hall of Famer. Fred McGriff, Hall of Famer. John Smoltz, Hall of Famer. Ozzie Smith, Brian Jordan and right. And Canadian Baseball Hall of Famer Tom Henke comes on for his 26th save.
Tom Hanky Panky.
Yes. Yep.
So definitely had to throw that in.
I'll still argue that Braves team is one of the best World Series rosters. On the other half, being the Cleveland Indians.
Oh yes,
So,
that was a fun one. And it definitely that went 7. Does it go 7 games?
I believe so. Yeah.
Good stuff. As we land the plane, I want to acknowledge some other MLB NFL crossovers. This time it's Ernie Nevers. Nevers was regarded as one of football's best triple threats during the 1920s for his ability to run, pass, and kick. He was a four-sport star at Stanford, excelling in baseball, basketball, and track and field. Nevers was a right-handed pitcher for the St. Louis Browns, while also starring for NFL's Duluth Eskimos, compiling a 6-12 record with a 4.64 ERA on the mound in 1926 to 1928. Another player is Drew Henson. Henson is the most recent athlete to make the top level in both sports. He was named Baseball America's High School Player of the Year in 1998, and the Yankees drafted him in the 3rd round that year and paid him $2 million signing bonus, even with the understanding he was committed to playing football for the University of Michigan. Oh, that was a smart idea. Henson split time with Tom Brady as quarterback of the Wolverines and ultimately appeared in 8 big league games for the Yankees in 2002 to 2003. He started the Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving Day game in 2004 and suited up for the Lions in 2008.
Wow.
Not a lot of people.
What's at the University of Michigan? We have Tom Brady. We have Drew Henson. And I've never seen a guy who was a quarterback in Michigan in the late 70s or 80s named Rick Leach, who had like a 10-12 he played 10-12 years in Major League Baseball. And I'm going, how'd this guy who finished 3rd in the Heisman when I look at the research right now, not even playing baseball. He's playing baseball instead of football and have a long career. It's weird.
They had a lot of good ones.
Something in that Michigan water, apparently.
They had a lot of good ones. So not a lot of people know this, but Jackie Robinson, who broke the MLB's color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1957, was a 4-sport star at UCLA, lettering in baseball, football, and basketball, and also track in 1939 and 1940. Before being drafted into World War II, he played semi-pro football for the Los Angeles Bulldogs and the Honolulu Bears. I mean, he played so many sports. When did he have time to do anything else? He played for all these teams.
It's something I recently learned is his brother Mac actually won the silver medal. I believe it was the 100-yard dash in the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Losing a guy named Jesse Owens, but still, your second place ain't bad in that situation.
Not a bit. So Bo Jackson is one of only 2 former Heisman Trophy winners to appear in a major league game. The other was 1950 winner Vic Janowitz, who played 2 seasons with the Pirates after leaving Ohio State before returning to football with Washington. As Kevin mentioned before, there are 7 total members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame who also played in the major leagues. That being Red Bagro, Patty Driscoll, George Hallis, Nevers, Ace Packer, and Jim Thorpe and Deion Sanders. So what a romp, right? What a sprint through the baseball and football crossover. Well, if you like that, you're going to love this. You're going to love our socials. We're on X. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on TikTok. Cowboy Jack Durango, any sponsorships coming up?
Tune in next week. I'll give you a little hint. There's a medical craze going on right now, and they've reached out. They've contacted Team Cowboy Jack, so expect a partnership in the near future.
Allan, where are you making your next beer run?
This weekend, I think I'm just going to be staying home. Just got to pack away all the football stuff and get ready for baseball season.
Nice. Kevin, where will you be seeing a baseball game?
Well,
Next
before I
week.
do that, if you're in beautiful Orange County, every Thursday at Native Sun, it's a tap room. It's a place where you get a plethora of great beers. Every Thursday, they're doing a competition right now, trying to find one of the best breweries in Orange County. This Thursday, if you are a fan of beer in Orange County, you need to go because it's Everywhere Beer contra Green Chic. Those are two of the best 5 breweries in Orange County. Take each other on. You get a flight. You get one little beer. Yeah, one little token. Vote for your choice. But if you're in beautiful Palm Springs, California, this Saturday, I'm going to be there to make our unfortunately just me annual pilgrimage to Palm Springs to see the California Winter League. The season is wrapping up. The semifinals are this Saturday. There's 2 games at 10 o'clock and 12:30. If you're around that area, go check it out. If you see me, say, "Hey, I hear you can't get a 5th date."
What happened?
And also hide your wallet in your car keys.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes. And Kevin, there's also, if you, I don't know about maybe Sunday and Monday, if you go out to Cal State Fullerton, you can see
my alma mater, sir.
Yes, you can see Rentaro Sasaki, the Japanese player who plays for Stanford. So definitely, yes.
Research.
Yes,
that's right. Because that is the gentleman. That's right. Sorry.
Yes.
Because if you ever look up a movie called Kyoshien Field of Dreams, I believe his father is a coach featured in that film.
There you go. So he'll be there in Cal State Fullerton this weekend. So I am on my way to Washington, D.C. or not, depending on the snow. I could be
I was going to say
right
down
here.
the plane flies. I was like, wait a minute. What are we talking about here?
I don't know. It's not looking good at this point. But I'm supposed to actually be there on Friday, and I don't think it's going to happen. I was going to try to see a basketball game, and it is not going to happen.
You're going to see the Bullets?
I was going to see the Washington Bullets.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Or Georgetown.
Yes. For Allan Jepsen, for Cowboy Jack Durango, for Kevin Lyon, I'm Michael Mondragon. We will see you next week with another Baseball Brew Crew podcast. Take care, everyone. Good night.